What's up YouTube? It's your boy Walker on the line, back with another video, and today I'm going to be running you through a couple of steps and a couple of tricks that I learned resin printing. Now this is going to be involving supports and how to make sure your model is secure and to prevent warping and to do all the above. So I'm going to run through everything I do in a single model. I'm going to pick somewhat of a complex model and I'm going to go through the whole thing so you guys can see what I do and how I get resin prints to come out that are very large and prevent them from warping. Alright guys, here we are in CHITUBOX and we're going to go ahead and get this tutorial started. So I need to find a file. Alright, so we have found a file and we are going to go ahead and get this ready to be printed. So the first thing you're going to want to do with your model is rotate it. You always want to rotate it if possible. And so you rotate it to the side that doesn't matter the most. Yes, the back of him, it does matter, but it does not matter as much as the front. The front is where you're going to be looking at. So if the back ends up getting a little messed up, something of that nature, it is not the worst thing in the world, because typically with these busts, they're going to be sitting on a shelf, on a wall, somewhere where you're not looking at the back, you're looking at the front of the face. So you're going to go down here and you're going to go to your rotate. And then when you go here, you want to rotate it to that side. Always try to get it to 45 degrees. I can't explain to you why 45 degrees is the best one. I just know that 45 degrees is the sweet spot, the number. So we're going to go down here and we are going to add supports. So I always start with my heavy supports. I get my heavies out of the way and I'll worry about the other ones later. You want to anchor this down with heavy supports. Heavy supports are nothing but anchors. And so what that means is it is attempting to prevent the print from warping. That is the whole goal. It holds it down and gives it a nice secure base, prevent warping or falling off of the bed, anything like that. These big boys, they can cause some damage to your prints, so that's why you do not want them anywhere critical. Anywhere where it actually matters, you do not want a heavy support unless it is absolutely necessary. There's no other way around it. And so as you can see, since this is a circle, I'm not sure if you guys picked up, but I'm going along the edge and I'm getting as close to that edge as I possibly can. You want to get as close to the edge as you possibly can. That is another thing that prevents warping, and you have to do it, because if these aren't all secured around the edge, now it doesn't have to be all next to each other, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you want them on the edge, spread out at a good distance, because those anchors need to hold it, because essentially now this thing is floating. It is floating, and these are your main things that are like, hey, stay here while you're printing, do not move. So you need as much support there, and you want it to hold it down and get a good grip on it, especially when these are large prints. You know, you're gonna have to really take your time with it and make sure you're anchoring it very well. Critical points matter. And so I always like to put a couple in the center just to give it that little extra. All right, and so now when it comes to these heavies in the base, I like to go down here and I like to delete all of these crosses. I like to get them out of the way, because when I go to fill in with others, these can cause a problem. And so now you want to go to your middle supports, and then this is right here. I just kind of want to give it a little bit of more anchor in these bigger gaps, and those are the biggest gaps I see. And now we move to the back. This is where we're going to use mainly middle supports, but I still am going to use some heavy. So you're going to go here, and I'm going to find places that aren't super detailed, don't really need a ton, but that do need some help. That elbow, how the whole arm is just by itself over here, this is going to need some good support. So I put heavy on the elbow, another heavy so that one isn't taking all the pressure, and then this hand, I want to put another one right here. That's going to help this arm out. So it doesn't need to be a lot, just needs to be enough. And I'm just going to spread them out and just give them a nice area to cover. So this looks good to me. I feel comfortable with everything here, and so now I'm going to go over here, and these are high detail. You know, this is a main part of the model. So when it comes to these islands, I do not want to just spread these out everywhere. So I'm just going to hit some points. I'm over here. So now I am fully comfortable with my manual support, and I am okay to move on to the next step. Now the next step is automatic supports. Don't use heavy. This is where middle and light supports go. So I'm going to start with middle, and I'm going to let the middle supports get all of the points that need to be seen first. And then after middle is done, I will go and select light, because I want middle to have reign over the entire model, because this is going to be a larger model. So now these are supported. Everything's looking pretty good. And so now I want my light to pick up where this left off. Alright, when it did that, I noticed that the lights didn't really pop up anywhere. And so right here you could see at this point, support angle. You can adjust this. You could adjust this higher or lower. 90 is maxed out. Typically I go 90 just to be safe, but you can adjust it as need be, and you could pick and choose how many supports you actually want. So let's just say we're gonna go with 80. Alright, light supports are all up in there. Okay, and now we are back to the model, and now it is time to hollow this figure out. So to hollow it out, it's pretty self-explanatory. You see this hollow up here, you'll click that, you'll click your wall thickness and your percent infill, and then you will click start. And I always cut animation off. This can be pretty heavy on your computer and maybe cause some crashes, so I always cut animation off to prevent anything from crashing. So now the figure is hollowed out. It is completely done. And so now we are going to move on to the island section. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to slice this model, and then right here, island detection. So island detection, this is going to detect all of the islands inside of your print. And what islands are floating pieces either inside or around the model that you need to support. Because if they're not supported, then they will still print and they will stick to the bottom of your FEP, and that can cause even more issues through your print process and mess up your entire model. Now, you can delete every single island, and that is an option, but then when you go and delete islands, it can open up another island. Or let's say you delete all of the islands and you go to print it, then some of the details in your model may be missing because it was a part of an island. In this case, you want to support every single island that is on your model. That is what I recommend. It is a really long process. I've spent 5 hours supporting islands before on really big models. It is not easy, and it can be very, very annoying. But in the long term, I recommend always support your islands. So we're going to hit start detecting islands. It's going to run its thing. It's going to detect every single one. And as you can see, there is a lot of islands. There's 64. Now, typically on larger prints, I've seen anywhere from 200 to 300. And yes, it is a very long process, and it is a very annoying process. I'm going to give you my little tip on how you can make this process just a little bit easier and more bearable. So load up your notepad. Get your notepad ready, because this is really what's going to help you. So you're going to go and hit the down arrow for your first island, and then you're going to zoom in. You could zoom in here, and you can right click to drag so you can see everything. So I always zoom in on here and I check where the island is, and it drops down to my very first one, and this is the layer that your island is on, 877. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to type 877 teeth, and that is just a very short abbreviation that helps me know where the island is, the layer the island's on, and part of the model that it is on, so it's easier to find. And so you're going to do that with every single island. All right, and so sometimes you'll run into this issue, right? It says there's an island, you can clearly see it, but it is not there. In this case, yes, you can delete the island because there's nothing to be supported, but you always want to make sure that you do delete it. So you're going to go here and you're going to hit delete. Alright, so I have my islands written down. Obviously it's not all of them. I'm not going to do the entire model, just a bit of an example for you guys. And so now I'm going to click on this right here, and if this isn't popped up, you can so see it's not popped up right now. So if this isn't popped up, you just click it and then it'll pop it right back up. So my first layer was 877. All right, so I found the island, and so now I want to go ahead and support it. Support that, and then I want to go to my next one, and this one's going to be a lot easier for you to see. So see right here, this thing is just floating out in the middle, and it is not being supported whatsoever. And there's a little line right here that needs to be supported. So you want to try and get under it as much as you can so you can get a good eye on it. I like to support these little lines just in case. Then you want to go and support the peaks and just, you know, give it some nice support. I'm going to go ahead and support this because I already know that needs support. Move on to the next one. And that was the island that it wanted me to support. That's why I always support the peaks, because typically you'll be able to see it. And then once you've supported all of your islands, once you've supported your whole entire model, and you feel confident in what you've done, you are good to go. My biggest recommendation and my biggest tip is to make sure all of your islands are supported. I made the mistake of deleting majority of them. Don't do it. It is not worth it, because you're going to waste material and you're going to mess up your print. I've done it. Don't do it. So if you want your model to be very detailed, your layer height, this is where you pick it. I stick at 0.09. It seems to be very detailed. You can go lower than that. You can't go higher than 0.2. I'm not really sure why, but I stick at 0.09. It seems to be the best one. It runs it very well, and my models come out very detailed, and it's relatively quick. But you can go more detailed or less detailed. It's completely up to you. My bottom layer count is 5. I've never changed it. It just came like that. Exposure time. This is a very important one, because I ran into an issue that was so insane, and so I don't even know a good explanation for it. So beforehand, when I had my Elegoo Mars, I had the same exact resin, same brand. I have not changed anything, the exact same resin. On the Mars, I had this set to 3.75, and all of my prints printed no problem. On my Jupiter 6K, that's a very large printer, so that's the only thing I can really say that might be the issue. I never changed this number, and my prints kept failing, so I bumped it up to 4.25, and for some reason it works and it prints completely fine now. So I don't understand why, other than the printer being larger, that the exposure time had to go up. I mean, I guess more surface area, but at the same time, what if I'm printing smaller models? I don't. That part doesn't make sense to me, but that's a key thing to look out for. There is a recommended time on the bottle. The time on the bottle was 4 seconds of exposure time, and I was able to run it at 3.75 on the small printer. So clearly this time can vary, I guess, from printer to printer. So you need to find that sweet spot. I would honestly say I would not worry about speeding this up, because yes, at the same time you want to pump more things out if you're running a business. At the same time, you don't want to pump something out and then it fail. Take your time with it, and then, you know, maybe if you want to slowly attempt something, do some tests first. I would do very small tests. Don't do a large test. Make sure that it's printing, and then slowly work your way up. I would not go from a small print to a large print, because you never know. So I would do a small print, make sure that comes out good. Then I would do a medium print, make sure that comes out good. And then I would do a large print and make sure that comes out good. But I can tell you that 4.25 is perfect. I've had 0 issues, and my prints are relatively fast. Bottom exposure time, I keep that at 35. That's what it was set at. I really don't want to mess with it, because the last thing I want is my bed adhesion layer to fall or not be fully cured. And if you do want a price cost, you can go in here, and your resin cost, you can change it to $1 per kilogram. I pay about 16 bucks per bottle. And so when you go back here and then you slice it, it'll give you a price estimate on how much stuff costs. And you can see right here 0.706151. So we're looking at about 71 cents to print this model. Now I will say a little update. The reason I am doing this video right now is because I am in the process of selling my Jupiter 6K, my resin printer. And the reason being, and I don't want to discourage anybody watching this video from resin printing, because resin printing is a really valid and really amazing print method, and it's good for high detail models, and it's good for all of the above. But the issue I'm running into, at least, is I have a lot of people coming in wanting multicolored prints, and so I've been working a lot with this Bamboo P1S. And you know, I do have an order, and I'm currently printing something out with my Jupiter, but I've been working so much with the Bamboo, and I've just been tuning it, and I've been working with it a lot more. I can get really good quality prints to come out with hardly any defects on my Bamboo P1S, and that is also due to the price of it. I mean, it's an $800 printer if you include the AMS unit. Just to give you some examples, this is one of the prints that came out on the Bamboo, and I mean, it's hollow, it's used lightning infill, so it isn't the best quality. Whoever made the file, I forgot to check their settings, and so with that infill and everything, some pieces came out not as good. It's not flimsy, but it is. I mean, and so this is another example. I mean, if you could see how detailed that is, I'm not sure how bad the light is on this right now, but if you can see how detailed this is, I mean, you got all the dragon scales, you got the spikes all the way up, you got the hairs on the neck, I mean, the detail to the face. I mean, it's very, very detailed, but with enough time and enough work and enough effort, you can make a filament printer just as good quality as a resin printer. Now, it will not be perfect, and resin printing will 110% come out way better. I mean, that's just a fact. Resin printing uses LEDs and UVs to harden the resin at certain layers, and you can get a smooth surface finish on resin printing. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys. A lot of these tips and tricks have really helped me with resin printing. I had a ton of issues warping, had a ton of issues with bed plate adhesion and trying to, you know, the print falling off to the side. So I really hope this helps you guys prevent failures in the future. And if there's anything else you need help with, leave them in the comments below. I'll try and get to them and respond and help you guys if there's an issue that I know how to fix for you. But yeah, guys, it's been Walker on the line. I hope you had a great time. And like always, down in the description, I have my Patreon and my GoFundMe. And if anybody wants to donate or anything like that, it's greatly appreciated. You don't have to. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you later.